So, should the Chicago Bears do the obvious and select Caleb Williams with the first overall pick? I don't think so. I think Chicago should flip the script on everybody and they should do the unthinkable and they should draft a homegrown Illinois boy from the state of Illinois in J.J. McCarthy. Now, I know that there's going to be a lot of you out there like, oh, he's not worth the number one overall pick, and that's too high. The Bears can't afford to mess this pick up. If they do, they'll be setting themselves back and all this and that. But if you look at it, J.J. McCarthy played in Michigan. He played for the Wolverines, right? What does Michigan and Chicago have in common? What do those two cities, Ann Arbor, Michigan, and Chicago, Illinois, what do those two cities have in common? They're both cold. They're both extremely cold. And the Bears traditionally love running the ball. J.J. McCarthy traditionally played for a Jim Harbaugh team that loves to run the ball for the Michigan Wolverines. Played in the cold, made some really good throws out in the cold, so the cold doesn't affect him. So you move on from Justin Fields, who was complaining about it being too cold in Chicago and wanted a roof overhead if he was going to stay with the Chicago Bears long term, right? Why not go with a homegrown Illinois boy like J.J. McCarthy, who is going to play for the Chicago Bears, probably his favorite football team growing up? I don't understand. I mean, I get why Caleb Williams is going to be the number one overall pick, but it makes more sense that the Chicago Bears go with J.J. McCarthy. It matches everything perfectly because when he wins, he's going to feel like he's winning for the actual city, the team that he rooted for, you know? Versus Caleb Williams, where there's already all kinds of red flags, not yellow flags like a 15-yard pick. I'm talking about red flags, like you don't belong here. This dude played in USC. I'm from California, trust me. And there's one thing about Californians, and I live in Ohio. There's one thing about Californians. We do not like the winter cold. We do not like the winter. Not out here in the Midwest. I'm in Toledo, Ohio. I don't like this cold winter, especially when it gets windy. Not at all. Not at all. So, Drake May, I can't see the Bears going Drake May. If they're going Drake May, they might as well just go with J.J. McCarthy. It just fits. I hate the Chicago Bears, but if I'm a GM and I get hired by the Chicago Bears and it's my job to make this team good as best as possible, it makes too much sense for my Chicago Bears. I'm thinking like if I'm the GM, like if I'm Ryan Poles, it makes way too much sense to draft a kid from the same state that my team is in. I'm going J.J. McCarthy. And again, for those of you that are saying that's too high of a pick, you can't draft J.J. McCarthy, number one overall, and all this and that. Let me ask you something. Is Tom Brady or Brock Purdy really really 7th round picks or Mr. Irrelevant picks? I don't think so. I think if you redo that whole entire Tom Brady draft, he's the number one overall pick. Does not matter what year you're having the NFL draft. Tom Brady almost didn't get drafted. Brock Purdy, Mr. Irrelevant. Both of them played in Super Bowls. It just makes sense. You go with what fits your team. You don't go with what, oh, these guys over here, they watch from afar. They're not inside the locker rooms. They're not inside of these buildings that the Chicago Bears conduct business in. You know, these guys are out here and with a microphone in their hand. They're getting paid by this media that produces the same narrative for all these different stations like Fox Sports and ESPN. They're not inside the locker rooms. Even the reporters, they're from afar. They have to ask questions of what's going on inside the buildings. Inside that Chicago building, the Bears building. The Bears should draft J.J. McCarthy because when the Bears lose or win, J.J. McCarthy's going to show what it's like for that team to win. He's going to show you actual emotions of what those fans in the stands are actually going through. He's a Chicago. He's a Bear. It makes too much sense. Now, things look like they're changing, but traditionally, Chicago would mess this up. Ryan Poles, you got this chance right here. You got this chance to draft him. Draft J.J. McCarthy. I'm telling you. It makes sense. He's from Illinois. I'm pretty sure he's a Bears fan. If not a Bears fan, I'd be shocked. But he played in the cold Ann Arbor, bro. It's cold. I deliver there. I'm a delivery driver. It is cold, bro. It's cold out there. It makes sense. He plays good in the cold. Caleb Williams, who knows how he's going to play in the cold. Justin Fields, you already went through a mobile quarterback that didn't like the cold. So